Ferrari's biggest problem in Austria was not that the tires faded. It was that Ferrari already knew they might. That is what makes this disaster feel different. Leclerc started second. Hamilton started third. 2 Ferraris inside the top 3. On Saturday, it looked like Maranello had found the answer. But Sunday exposed the truth. The SF26 was fast enough to create hope, but not strong enough to protect it. The tires overheated. The grip disappeared. The strategy became smaller. And the race pace Ferrari needed simply was not there when the Grand Prix started to bite. This was not one unlucky moment. This was a hidden tire degradation issue dragged into the open, in front of Mercedes, Red Bull, and every rival waiting for Ferrari to crack. And now the question inside Ferrari is brutal. If this car can qualify near the front, but starts losing control once the tires suffer, how can Hamilton and Leclerc fight for a championship across a full season? Because Austria may not have been a bad weekend. It may have been the warning that Ferrari's fastest laps are hiding its biggest weakness. Subscribe to the channel. Austria was supposed to calm Ferrari down. That is what makes the tension so sharp now. Because before Sunday exposed the tire degradation, Ferrari still had something powerful to hold on to. They had qualifying. They had Leclerc on the front row. They had Hamilton starting right behind him. They had the image of 2 red cars inside the top 3, ready to put pressure on Russell, ready to challenge Mercedes, ready to prove that the SF26 was not just a car that could win when everything was perfect. For a few hours, Ferrari could believe the problem had been controlled. But belief is not the same as proof. And Austria gave Ferrari proof of something far more uncomfortable. The car had speed, but it did not have enough protection. That difference matters. A fast car can impress you for 1 lap. It can produce a headline. It can make a driver look like a threat. It can make the garage feel alive on Saturday night. But a protected car does something more important. Keeps the tires alive. It lets the driver push without punishment. It gives the pit wall options. It allows a team to attack a Grand Prix instead of surviving it. And in Austria, Ferrari did not have enough of that protection. The warning signs had been there from Friday. Leclerc had already made it clear that Ferrari did not look very competitive. He pointed toward the long straights, where the car was losing too much time. But the detail that should have worried everyone most was the corner performance. Ferrari was negatively surprised there. That is not a small detail. Because when a car loses time on the straights, the corners are supposed to become the rescue. That is where the driver wins something back. That is where the car proves it has another way to fight. That is where Ferrari should have been able to say, yes, the straights hurt us, but the corners bring us back. Austria did not allow that comfort. The straights hurt. The corners did not save them. And the tires became the place where all of those weaknesses collided. That is how a hidden degradation issue becomes public. It does not always appear as a sudden collapse. It starts quietly. The rear tires slide a little more. The driver has to wait longer before going full throttle. The car loses bite on corner exit. A lap time softens. Then the strategy starts shrinking because the pit wall can no longer choose the race it wants. It has to choose the race the tires allow. That is the brutal truth of tire degradation. It steals freedom. When the tires are healthy, a team can be aggressive. It can extend a stint. It can stop early. It can cover a rival. It can attack at the perfect moment. The pit wall has choices, and choices create power. But when the tires fade too quickly, those choices disappear. Suddenly, Ferrari is not asking, how do we win this race? Ferrari is asking, how do we stop this from getting worse? That is a completely different mindset. And it is not the mindset a team wants when Leclerc starts second and Hamilton starts third. Because that grid position should give Ferrari leverage. With 2 cars near the front, Ferrari should be able to split pressure. 1 driver can attack. 1 driver can cover. The team can force rivals to respond. It can create uncertainty for Mercedes, Red Bull, and everyone behind. But that only works if both cars can maintain race pace. If both cars are trapped by tire wear, the advantage begins to disappear. 2 cars do not help enough if they are both fighting the same weakness. That is why Austria was such a painful exposure. Ferrari's qualifying result made the team look dangerous. The race made the team look vulnerable. And in Formula 1, vulnerable teams get hunted. That is the part Ferrari cannot ignore. Because rivals do not just watch results. They study patterns. They look for repeatable weaknesses. They ask where a car suffers when it suffers and how to force it into that suffering again. Austria may have given them the answer. Put pressure on Ferrari's rear tires. Make them defend. Make them use traction out of slow corners. Attack them on the straights. Force them to choose between pushing and protecting. then wait for the tires to tell the truth. That is exactly the kind of blueprint a team fears. Because once a weakness becomes visible, it becomes part of every race plan against you. Before Austria, rivals could look at Ferrari and see danger. Hamilton had just won in Spain. Leclerc had qualified second. The car had moments that looked genuinely threatening. After Austria, rivals could still see danger. But now they could also see the crack. And a crack is all the paddock needs. The Red Bull ring made that crack obvious because of the way it attacks a car. It asks the rear tires to work again and again. The driver brakes hard, turns, then accelerates aggressively onto the next straight. If the car is balanced, it survives. If it slides, it overheats the tires. If the tires overheat, the grip fades. And if the grip fades, the driver slides even more. That is the loop. And once Ferrari entered that loop, the race became harder to control. The driver can manage it for a while. Leclerc can be smoother. Hamilton can use experience. The team can adjust instructions. But there is a limit to what driving can hide. If the car is naturally asking too much from the tires, the driver can delay the damage, not erase it. Because perception matters in Formula One. If rivals believe Ferrari is fragile on its tires, they will treat Ferrari differently. They will be less intimidated by a strong qualifying result. They will be more patient behind a red car. They will believe the drop-off is coming. That belief alone can change how the race unfolds. It means Ferrari must prove more. Not just that it can qualify well. Not just that it can produce one fast lap. Not just that it can win when conditions are friendly. Ferrari must prove it can survive the difficult tracks without falling into tire trouble. That is the next stage of pressure. And it is why Austria feels like more than one bad weekend. Because the circuit exposed a pattern that may matter later. The SF26 appears more comfortable on certain types of track, especially where the layout suits its strengths. Spain gave Ferrari joy. Hamilton won there and the car looked capable of something special. But Austria showed the other face. Long straights, heavy traction zones, rear tire stress, less room to hide inefficiency, less room to recover through the corners. More punishment for every small slide. That kind of track can reveal whether a car is truly complete. Ferrari did not look complete enough. And that is a serious problem when the calendar still contains circuits that can ask similar questions. Spa, Monza, Las Vegas. Those names matter because they are not gentle places for a car with straight-line concerns and tire stress problems. They can make weakness louder. They can take what Austria exposed and increase the pressure. That is why Ferrari's next response is so important. The team cannot simply say Austria was difficult and move on. It has to understand exactly why the tires suffered. It has to know whether the issue can be reduced with setup changes, or whether it lives deeper in the car's design direction. That difference could define the season. If the problem is setup, Ferrari has hope for a quicker correction. Adjust the balance, change how the rear tires are loaded, refine the differential, work on suspension behavior, bring the tire into a calmer operating window. But if the problem is deeper, then Ferrari is facing a longer battle. And longer battles cost points. That is where the tension becomes championship tension. Because Russell won in Austria, Verstappen recovered strongly. Antonelli reached the podium. While Ferrari was dealing with tire questions, rivals were collecting results. And in a championship fight, every race where you leave with questions while rivals leave with points becomes expensive. Ferrari cannot live on potential. Not with Hamilton. Not with Leclerc. Not with the expectations surrounding the team. Potential is the word teams use when the future still feels possible. But Formula One rewards the present. The stopwatch does not wait for potential to mature. The championship table does not care that an upgrade is promising. The rivals do not slow down because Ferrari is still learning the car. Austria made that brutally clear. Ferrari has speed. But speed without durability becomes a problem. Ferrari has qualifying performance. But qualifying performance without race pace becomes a trap. Ferrari has two elite drivers. But elite drivers without tire life become limited. That is the painful equation. And it is why the atmosphere after Austria cannot be calm in the way Ferrari would want. The team can stay professional. The drivers can stay measured. The engineers can work through the data. But underneath all of that, the pressure is real because the problem now has consequences beyond Austria. Every future race becomes a test of whether the hidden degradation issue has been contained. The next time Leclerc qualifies high, people will ask whether Sunday will expose the tires. The next time Hamilton looks strong on Saturday, people will ask whether the race pace will last. The next time Ferrari brings an upgrade, people will ask whether it truly changes the car, or only improves it for one lap. That is what exposure does. It changes the questions. Before Austria, the question was whether Ferrari could build on Spain. After Austria, the question is whether Ferrari can stop its tires from destroying the races it qualifies for. That is a darker question. And it is one Ferrari must answer quickly. Because drivers like Hamilton and Leclerc do not just need speed. They need certainty. They need to know that when the car starts near the front, the race will not become a slow retreat. They need to know that the tires will give them enough freedom to attack, defend, and adapt. Without that certainty, every strong grid position becomes loaded with doubt. And doubt is dangerous at Ferrari. Doubt spreads through a team quietly. It affects strategy meetings. It affects setup choices. It affects driver feedback. It affects how aggressive the pit wall feels when the first stint begins. It affects whether the team races from confidence or from fear of degradation. Austria planted that doubt. Now Ferrari has to remove it. And the only way to remove it is not through words. It is through a Sunday where the tires hold. A Sunday where race pace stays alive. A Sunday where Leclerc and Hamilton start near the front and do not spend the race managing a weakness everyone else can see. That is the proof Ferrari now owes itself. Because the hidden tire issue is hidden no longer. Austria dragged it into the light. And once a weakness is in the light, there is no going back to pretending it is small. Ferrari either fixes it, or every rival will keep aiming straight at it.